My name is Rick Haskell, and I'd like to welcome you to Economics 3100, Labor Economics. I want to spend a few minutes going through the course and giving you a sense of the central theme of the course, uh, something about how we'll communicate with each other, the instructor access, course organization, and the various assignments. So as we go through, just kind of pay attention to what I'm doing on the screen as well as what I'm trying to tell you, and then move back and forth, perhaps even to Canvas to see what we're looking at. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the central theme of the course. So this course will seem complicated at times. It's got a lot of math to it, simple math, of course, some graphing and some very simple algebra, but it'll seem like there's a lot of it, but it's all trying to give us a sense of one thing, and that is, why do different workers receive different wages? And you're going to see as we go through the various modules of the course that there are many reasons for that. So when we deal with the math, when we deal with the graphing, when we deal with the various discussions that you'll be engaged in, it's all to help you answer that question, why do different workers receive different wages? You'll even go ahead and offer me an essay at the end of the term that answers that question from your perspective using some of the metrics we put together. So let's talk for just a moment about how we're going to access each other and access the course. First, everything's through videos. And everything is on Canvas. I'm going to walk you through the various elements of Canvas in a few minutes so you can see all of that. But I also want to make sure that you know that we're going to use WhatsApp extensively in this course. You'll see this reflected in the announcements. You'll see it reflected in the introduction to the course. But you're going to find that it is your saving grace, because oftentimes you'll have a question that you might want to ask. You should ask it out on the WhatsApp group for the course that you will have already joined. In fact, there's something a little bit later in this video I'm giving you today that will help you have a little bit more of a motivation to do this, perhaps. So you'll ask the question on WhatsApp, and then if I see the question first, I will go ahead and answer it for you. Or as soon as I can see it and I'm in a place where I can answer, I'll answer the question for you. But it's altogether possible, sometimes even likely, that someone else in the course will have also seen the question you've asked. And they may know the answer and ask it before they can answer it then before I can. So WhatsApp not only gives us a really nice communication tool, but it gives us one that speeds up delivery to you. There are times where I may not be able to answer the question for a matter of hours, where somebody else already knows the answer and gives it to you in a matter of minutes. Of course, you can use text, and you can use email. You see that you have my email address towards the bottom of this, of course. You'll also notice that you have my cell phone number. And I would encourage you to reach out to me whenever you need to, but I would encourage you to reach out first through WhatsApp so that others can benefit from the communication as well. Unless it's something private, unless it's something that you're uncomfortable sharing with others, and then certainly feel free to come to me directly. So let's look at the course itself. So obviously this is going to be delivered this term in an online virtual fashion. I actually developed this course 8 or 9 years ago for the University of Utah while I was working on my doctoral degree in economics. I'm no longer at the University of Utah. I'm a finance professor at Westminster College, where I've been since I completed my doctorate. And I completed my doctorate after having spent about 30 years owning my own businesses in the investment industry and then in private equity, and had an opportunity to have a nice exit from those about 10 years ago now, and took that opportunity then to go back to the U, earn my doctorate, and now I'm teaching finance at Westminster. But I developed this class, this labor economics class, both in a live and an online session while I was at the University of Utah. And I have the privilege of teaching it periodically when the U is looking for someone to teach it, and if I have time on my schedule. So when you go to Canvas, you'll see that you'll open up to the home page, and here you'll do exactly what it says. You'll click on the icon that says Start Here. When you do that, it's going to take you through a series of modules. And one of those modules will help you understand how to set up your notifications in Canvas so that you get any Canvas messages, whether it's comments I leave on an assignment, announcements I'm giving you, reminders of due dates, etc., or just regular Canvas mail messages. It'll let you get them on your phone. So when you go to this, open it up, click on your photograph up in the upper left-hand corner where it says Account, and it'll open up, it'll show you the notifications, profile settings, etc. And I believe then you're going to want to go ahead and click on notifications, and it'll let you set up preferences for all the different types of notifications that you have in Canvas. And there are a lot of them, of course. So I'm going to encourage you to set up any due dates, course content changes, grades, discussions, conversations, all to hit your email address and or your cell phone number. And you can see how I've got mine set up with some of the various email addresses that I have and my cell phone number. This is important because it's going to help you stay abreast of any changes in the course. It's going to help you stay abreast of due dates. It'll help you keep from falling behind. We do move rapidly in this course, especially when we're in a half semester structure where we're going for 8 weeks instead of the entire 16 or 17 that most semesters normally go through. Well, let's talk about the organization of the class itself now. You're going to find the class is organized into a series of modules. Each module, and there are 15 of them, each module has a series of videos. And in some of the modules, there are as many as 6 videos, and some there are as few as 3 or 4. And the earlier modules in the first half of the course, there are all 5 or 6. And they're each about 8 to 13 minutes in length. The second half of the course, there are an average of 4 videos per module. And similarly, they're 8 to 13 minutes in length. After each video, there's a quick quiz. The quiz is set up such that you can take it multiple times. You may get different questions each time, and it will score it for you, but that score does not affect your course grade. So it's scoring it just so that you can see how you did, and you'll get the right answers after you finish the quiz. So you can see how you answered versus the right answers, perhaps. But no matter how you score on this, it will not affect your course grade. It has 0 impact on the grade. However, after the final video in the course, or rather final video in the module, and after the final quiz in the module, you'll then engage in a review problem. And a review problem is set up such that it's a combination of multiple choice, calculations, maybe some essay-like multi-paragraph answers, or some short answers that are 2 or 3 or 4 sentences, or graphing, in which case you'll actually do some graphing, some calculating, and then you'll digitize that image and then submit it to Canvas in the review problem. You have 2 opportunities to take each review problem, and you must take them by the due date and time. After the due date and time, they disappear from your view. You can't take them again, and if you have missed them, well, you've missed them. And when you do that, unfortunately, you may be subject to a 0 grade on that. However, with these review problems, they make up a meaningful percentage of your course grade. In fact, if I remember correctly, I've set it up so they make up 60% of your course grade, and there's 15 of them. Pay attention to these. Spend some time on them. Do well on them. Provide the information that's looked for. If you didn't do well in your first run through, go ahead and use the second attempt. I don't give you the highest score from the 2 attempts. I give you the average score from the 2 attempts. And there are some of the questions in the review problem that don't automatically score. Those that are short essays, short answers, and those that are graphics and calculating something. So I have to go in after you're done, and I then go ahead and score them. And I typically have them scored within 3 or 4 business days after you submitted them. In each of the weeks of the course, you're going to find that there are 2 review problems after this first week. This first week is an introduction, and then 1 review problem, which means 1 module beyond the introduction. But then past this first week, there are 2 modules, which means 2 review problems in each week. Spend some time on these. They're worth it, and they impact your grade. You'll also find that there's a series of Canvas discussions, and then you'll find that there's a course essay, and then you'll find that I've given you some supplemental resources. So we'll go through and look at some of these now. First, when you go into the course, you could click on home, and it'll either take, whether you click on home or not, it'll take you to the modules. And go ahead and just start to walk through the modules. And in this case, I've gone ahead and opened up the modules page and then clicked on the first of these modules for WhatsApp, indicating we're going to use it extensively. So let me go ahead and click on that now until you can see where we are. Well, it takes you to the course orientation and then walks you through a number of items, including a small video, which you're probably already realizing because it's the video you're watching right now. But you've seen WhatsApp, you see some of the information here, you see how this is structured, and you see that at the very bottom of this, that you have an opportunity to go ahead and advance to the next part of the module. In this case, the next part of the module, I believe, is taking you to the course schedule. And you'll see the course schedule is on the syllabus. You'll see that it's embedded 2 or 3 times during the modules, and you can see it here as well. So you see every one of the modules we're going to deal with, starting with the labor market module, number 1, and going all the way down to module 15 for income inequality. And you'll see the dates that we'll have the optional Zoom review sessions for those that would like them. And you'll see the dates that all of the quizzes and problem sets are due. That's in the far right-hand column. You can also see here that there are a series of 6 Canvas discussions. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about these in a few minutes. But these Canvas discussions are also important in the course because this is where you get the qualitative context that we're able to wrap around the quantitative metrics so that you get a very good understanding of how you might answer the question, why do different workers receive different wages? As we look then at the first module, you see that it's set up for module 1, the labor market. Gives you a brief description of what we're going to discuss in this module, gives you a series of objectives, and then gives you a to-do item. And then you'll see down at the bottom of this, it says Module 1 resources. These are supplemental resources that go beyond the videos, the quizzes, the review problems. You don't need to go through the resources for any of the modules. You do need to go through the videos, the quizzes, the review problems, etc. The supplemental resources are there for extra information to give you a better understanding of what's going on. You don't need to go through these, but they can be very helpful to you. When we get into the modules themselves, you see that we begin with the various activities, and the activities begin with the videos. Again, there are 5 or 6 of them. In this case, I believe this module has 5, and each video, again, is 8 to 13 minutes in length. And after the video, there's a quiz. After the block of videos in the module, then there is a quiz and a review problem. And here's an example of the first video for the labor market. And I'm not going to spend time going through the video itself. You've got links to it, but it gives you a sense of some of the information and how I'm putting the information that we're dealing with. Here's the labor market as of December 31st, 2014. By the way, you're going to find that the labor market is discussed statistically in the 5th section of this first module on the labor market. However, because there's been such dramatic changes in the labor market, employed, unemployed, labor force participation, etc., in recent weeks, I have removed that particular item, video 5, quiz 5, from this first module because it's now woefully out of date. I think you'll understand all where we're going with it, of course, and you'll understand what the stats are telling us, but just know that it's very rapidly become out of date, so I've removed it from this particular course, this block. Once you've gone through the videos and the quizzes for the module, then you'll go ahead and go to the next page, which will take you to the Module 1 wrap-up. And again, you see a series of activities here. These activities include the review problem, they include the module resources, and they include some of the next assignments that might be due aside from the quiz and review problems, such as one of those 6 Canvas quizzes, which you can see here is due on May 24th. You see it right in the middle of the screen where it says Canvas discussion number 1 on the minimum wage. You'll see 3 lines above that, or a couple of lines above that, that the review problem is due on May 17th at 11:59 p.m. And then you get a link to the review problem. So this is how we move through this course, and we do it for each one of the modules. Let me take you briefly to the Canvas discussions. Again, there are 6 Canvas discussions. These are ones that you will open up a discussion page. You'll see some information about the discussion, some comments from me, but then you'll see 5 or 6 or 7 other source items, articles, videos, etc., that will give you some information about the topic that we're discussing. So this first topic on the minimum wage is no secret. It's all about minimum wage changes in recent years. And the effect of the minimum wage. Well, you're going to be given an opportunity to have 3 separate posts with respect to your thoughts, your impressions and feelings, what you've learned about the minimum wage. Not necessarily what I've told you, not necessarily what somebody else tells you, unless it's factual, of course. But this is about you having discussions with other students in the class. I monitor these discussions, but unless something untoward is taking place, I don't get involved in these discussions. I'm expecting that students are comporting themselves professionally. I'm expecting that the behavior is appropriate, that we're maintaining a safe, appropriate spaces to openly discuss some of the more interesting elements of labor economics. And in this particular term, we're going to talk about the minimum wage in the Canvas discussion 1. Canvas discussion number 2 will look at unemployment in the age of the COVID-19 virus. The Canvas discussion number 3 will look at labor replacing technology, so robotics and such. Number 4 will look at the effects of immigration and the current immigration environment. Number 5 will look at our current healthcare situation in America, because healthcare is a direct determinant on the effectiveness and productivity of labor, and we're dealing with labor economics. And then finally, we'll deal with a Canvas discussion on labor discrimination, where we're looking primarily at wage gaps based on race, gender, and other non-productivity related items. So this gives you a sense of these. However, as I said, there are 3 unique posts that you'll offer. So you should open up the Canvas discussion a good week and a half or more before it's due. And you should make your original post based upon your thoughts, your impressions from having looked at some of the material that I provided for you. That's your first post. Your second post is where you will have to respond to the post of another student. So we need to get into these early, well before the due date. Otherwise, there's not enough time to go back and forth with posting, responding, etc. That's why I tell you start this a week or a week and a half before the due dates. So you'll offer a post that's a response to some other student, maybe questioning their opinion, maybe offering your opinion on top of theirs, etc. Again, in a very safe, respectful, and appropriate manner. And then finally, you have a third post that is where you respond to another student who would have already responded to you. Now, in the event that you don't have any students respond to you, then you're welcome to simply go ahead and respond to another student. But I need you to do 3 unique posts. There's 10 points available for each one of these Canvas discussions. And if I remember correctly, I've set it up so that the discussions on the whole, are worth 15% of your overall course grade. If you want to get all 10 points, you must have all 3 posts represented. And a post isn't just a little one-liner. It's not just something that you throw off the top of your head. This is going to be 15% of your grade, for heaven's sake. So I want to see that you're thoughtfully considering the topic. You reviewed it, you're considering what other people are saying, you've offered some thoughtful commentary. And so I go ahead and look not only at the number of posts, but the depth and intensity of each one of your posts. Well, if you give 3 posts, and if they are appropriate and thoughtful, then you'll earn 9 to 10 points out of the 10 available. If you give only 2 posts, then you can earn a maximum of 8 points out of the 10 available. And if you give only 3 or only 1 post, then you'll earn a maximum of 7 points out of the 10 available. Again, if you offer 3 posts, you can earn 9 or 10 points. If you offer 2 posts, you can earn only as much as 8 points. If you offer only 1 post, you'll earn a maximum of 7 points. And you can go up from those and down based upon the intensity and the thoughtfulness of the post that you provide. There's going to be a course essay. And this course essay really is something that I'm writing for you as we're going through and dealing with the assignments, the modules, the videos, etc., because it's the summation of the course. You're going to realize that in each module, after about module 3, I give you a reason why different workers receive different wages. Maybe it's human capital investment. Maybe it's skill differentiation. Maybe it's discrimination. Maybe it's compensating wage differential. It's one of a number of items of which I'm going to have given you probably a dozen or so throughout the course. And in this essay, I'm asking you to give me 3 of those back and help me understand why different workers receive different wages using 3 of the reasons, the rationale I've outlined in the modules, and whichever 3 you want to. You're going to talk to me about these in a good essay form with an introduction, with a body, with conclusions. You don't need to give references unless you're bringing in material from outside of the course. Anything used inside of the course, you do not need to cite or reference. Anything from outside of the course, you do. You're expected to help me understand what you're looking for, how you're answering the question, what modules and metrics you're going to answer it with, and then go ahead and discuss those for me and give me the quantitative and graphic representations of those rationale as you discuss them for me. So this must include not only your commentary and your qualitative content, but also quantitative content. You don't necessarily need to add numbers to the models that you'll give me. The graphic representation and walking me through them is satisfactory, but you're certainly welcome to add numbers to it. And then make sure you give me a good, strong conclusion. More students lose more points because they choose to not bother with the conclusion than anything else, or they give a very skimpy 1 or maybe 2-line conclusion. The conclusion is where you connect the various elements of the different rationale. Models, compensating wage differentials and skills differentiation and productivity, all 3 of which are talked about in 3 different modules, dovetail into each other. And so these are not mutually exclusive. These are connected. And so in the conclusion, tell me about the connectivity. Help me understand what's going on here, Rick. Well, I've told you a little bit about the supplemental resources. Here's an example of a supplemental resource page where I give you some primers, problems, and solutions. These are links to some items. And then I give you links to other videos that I found YouTube or elsewhere throughout the marketplace, just to give you a sense of the concept you're dealing with, but from a slightly different perspective. Well, let's talk about the very best way that you can succeed in this course. And I'm going to tell you that it's simple. First, have some discipline, stay with the schedule. That should go without saying. This is an online course and you're a college student. But more important to that at the moment, watch the videos. I've spent a tremendous amount of time. I think there's 120 videos that we recorded for this class, or I recorded for the class. And I've spent a lot of time and effort. I try my best to help you see what's going on in the videos. So just watch, or going on in the course through the videos. So watch the videos. You don't have to see my face. You do have to put up with my bad handwriting sometimes. And sometimes you'll put up with me coughing here and there. I unfortunately developed pneumonia and spent the latter part of my course development some years ago when I was putting this together in the hospital. So you're unfortunately having to deal with a little bit of coughing here and there, and I'll apologize for that. But watch the videos. If you find yourself lost, you don't understand a concept, go back and review the video again, because watch the videos. They are the key to succeeding in the course. And by the way, I get questions from people saying, Rick, how can I succeed in the course? Or Rick, I don't understand what's going on here. And I ask them if they've watched the videos, and invariably they haven't, or they sped through them. Watch the freaking videos. Hopefully enough said on that. They're important. So a word about grades. I start with the concept that everybody has an A. And if you do the work, you put in the time, you give a fair effort to this, and it's obvious, then you will get a good grade in the course. I get no joy in providing Ds. I hate providing fails. And sadly, some of you will probably test me in that. But this is a course where you should be able to expect to get a strong grade, whether you have an economics background or not, because it's not a course that has economics as a prerequisite. Whether you have a strong math background or not. I walk you through every one of the mathematical elements. I walk you through all of the graphing, set up everything necessary. So I believe that you can do well in this course. Finally, and this was the little item that I said at the very front of this, would motivate you to use WhatsApp. The first person that, having seen this video and reaches out to me through WhatsApp telling me that they've finished this will receive a Starbucks gift card from me. Well, I hope you enjoy the course. I'd like to get to know as many of you as I can. There will be 50 or 60 students in this course. We'll have a lot of interaction. We'll see each other on Zoom. We'll get to know each other through WhatsApp and text and such. Please feel free to reach out to me whenever you need to. I love this material. I dig economics. Some of my favorite things to do is think about life around us, everyday life around us, from an economic perspective. Some of you have had other economics courses, and sometimes you wonder, how is this ever going to relate to me? Well, a labor economics course absolutely relates to you. We are all in the labor market. We are all participants in this market. And in fact, you're going to find as you go through this course, you start to realize why different things happen around you that you've observed in the past. And you start to see why it is that different workers receive different wages. I hope you enjoy the course. Feel free to reach out to me at any time and have a great day.